Let's be real about cybersecurity for a second. A breach, an attack, it's not a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when. So the real test of an organization isn't just about building higher and higher walls, it's about what you do when someone inevitably gets over them. And that's what we're talking about today, your playbook for that exact moment. And that's really the heart of it, right? In that critical moment when something slips through the cracks, panic is your absolute worst enemy. It just creates confusion, and guess what? Confusion is the perfect cover for an attacker to do even more damage. A calm, structured response, that's what separates a resilient organization from one that just spirals into chaos. And we're not talking about some far-fetched movie plot here. These are the kinds of threats that organizations are dealing with every single day. You know, it could be something as simple as one person clicking on a malicious email attachment that unleashes malware, or it could be a massive DDoS attack trying to knock your website offline. Or, the real nightmare, someone stealing your data and holding it for ransom. The point is, you've got to be ready for all of it. So, how in the world do you prepare for that? Well, it all starts with the very first, and you could argue the most critical phase of any good incident response plan: preparation. And what's so interesting here is that the most important work you'll do, it actually starts long before an attacker ever even thinks about targeting you. Good preparation is all about having your game plan figured out before the game starts. The foundation of all of this is a formal, written-down incident response plan. This is your playbook. It says exactly who does what and when. You also have to assemble and train your response team so they act like a single, well-oiled machine. And yeah, you get your tools ready, you document everything, and you establish who calls who. The goal is super simple. When a crisis hits, nobody is wasting a single second wondering what to do next. I love this concept because it makes all that preparation feel so real, the incident go bag. Just think of it like an emergency kit for a digital firefighter. It might be a literal bag with clean laptops already loaded up with forensic software, or it could be a virtual folder with all your network maps, emergency contact lists, and clean system images ready to go. The point is, when the alarm goes off, you just grab the bag and get to work. No time wasted. Okay, so you've done your homework, your playbooks are written, your go bags are packed, but now it's happening. An attack is underway. We're now in the thick of it, and the very first active step is to detect and contain the threat, because you can't exactly fight an enemy you can't see. So spotting an attack really happens in two ways. Over on the left, you've got precursors. Think of these as the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. Maybe you're seeing weird scans hitting your servers, or a hacking group makes a threat online. It's a warning that something could happen. But then on the right, you have indicators. This is the fire alarm actively blaring. An alert from your security system, a huge, weird spike in data leaving your network, that's telling you an attack is happening right now. The second you've confirmed there's an incident, your number one priority, your only priority really, is containment. This isn't about fighting back just yet, it's about stopping the bleeding. You gotta isolate the machines that are affected, you shut down any accounts that might be compromised, and you block that malicious traffic. The whole goal here is to shrink the blast zone and keep a small fire from turning into a massive inferno. This analogy just nails it. Shutting that door, that is containment. It's that immediate, critical, time-sensitive action that buys you the breathing room you need to actually go in and deal with the fire without letting the whole building burn down around you. Okay, so the door is shut. The fire is contained. Now it's time to go on the offensive. This is the eradicate and recover phase. This is where your team actively goes in, removes the threat for good, and starts the careful process of rebuilding everything. And listen, this has to be a methodical process. It's not a frantic race to just get things back online. It starts with eradication. You hunt down every last trace of the attacker. But then comes a step that so many people skip: remediation. You have to fix the hole that let the attacker in. Only after that do you safely restore your systems and then validate or double-check that the threat is really, truly gone. And here's a huge warning, something that way too many organizations get wrong when they're in a panic. If you rush to restore systems before you've done a full investigation, you could wipe out all the evidence. Think about it. If you just wipe a machine clean without figuring out how the attacker got in, you're basically leaving the front door unlocked for them to waltz right back in using the exact same trick. Okay, systems are back online. The immediate crisis is over. We've now reached the final and, frankly, the most important phase of all: lessons learned. This is where you take a really painful event and you turn it into a powerful lesson that actually makes your defenses stronger for the future. This all happens in what's called a post-incident review. And there is one golden rule here: no finger pointing. This is not about finding someone to blame. It is an honest team effort to figure out how to get better. You walk through the timeline, you look at how the plan actually worked under pressure, and then you ask the biggest question of all. How do we update our playbook, our tools, and our training to make sure this specific type of attack can never happen to us again? And all of this, everything we've talked about, it all boils down to one simple, powerful truth in cybersecurity. Perfect security, it just doesn't exist. No matter how much money you spend, no matter how smart your tools are, someday, something will probably get through. So what really truly matters is resilience. It's the ability to take a punch, to respond the right way, to get back up quickly, and to learn from it so you come back even stronger. That is what a secure organization really looks like. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought, a question to ask yourself.